Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon. Hey guys, it's Vadia. So back in another Card Fate Vanguard deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get started, shall we? Today is the final deck of the V-Series Clan Collections. I cannot believe after a month or so of just straight 5 uploads, no, 10, well, yeah, 5, at least 5 uploads a week, and definitely over 10, and of editing, I finally did it. It's over. The amount of videos and throat murdering I have to do, it's over. I have succeeded. I've won. That being said, I lived through this Wisteria Arboros deck profile. So, Wisteria. Honestly, I don't think any of us really cared before, or maybe a handful of us cared that Wisteria was coming back. But now that he's come back, he's actually pretty good. Like, damn, the guy actually is real. I don't know how to explain it. Let's just go ahead and get to the deck profile. I'll explain when we get to him. First up today, our starter is Arboros Dragon Ratoon. Grade 0 boost, 10k shield, 6k base. Auto when it's rolled upon, draw a card. Then if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 1 grade, you get a quick show ticket to your hand. Okay, standard starter, you draw, you get a quick show ticket. Here's why this is our starter. As you all know, if there is a ride line, I will most likely run the starter of the said ride line, which means since Ratoon's here, which means the Arboros ride line is in here, which is very much true. Now, I was going to build Wisteria, but then I ran into the problem of I could either make Wisteria a main grade 3 and have Maiden of Trailing Rose as a backup grade 3, or I could combine it with Arboros, or I could combine it with Maiden of Stand Peony. Both of them had options for plant token power, except differences, Peony got more attacks out of it, and Arboros got more power out of it. I chose the Arboros one because, like, I didn't like Maiden of Stand Peony. Like, I did win with it against Shiryuki when I went into the negatives and my Vanguard did absolutely nothing but stand the rear guards, but, I don't know, I didn't really like her that much, and I prefer Arboros a lot more, and having a man riding a dragon as he's holding a sword, yeah, that's a lot cooler than a man dancing the night away with a woman in white clothing as, like, a wedding thing. Yeah, no offense, but let's all be fair. Which one sounds cooler, and which one would you rather ride into the battle, the dragon or the woman? Don't take that the wrong way. Ratoon's our starter. Trigger-wise, run 4 draw PG in Maiden of Blossom Rain. Grade 0 boost, 0 shield, 5k base, draw trigger, continues sound on 4 sounds on your deck, and auto guard circle when placed, cost discard a card from your hand, and one of your units cannot be done in the battle. Standard PG, nothing too special about it. We run 8 crits in Intensely Spicy Battler Cap CC. I don't know why it's called that, and Chestnut Bullet, and our 4 heals are Watering Elf. I don't run Heal Guardians. If you want an actual explanation why, go watch the video from like 5 weeks ago. I think it was Locks, and you get an actual explanation from them. But for the shortened down version, they're detrimental to my playstyle, and that's why I don't run Heal Guardians. I run the 8 crit and 4 draw just because, like, to be fair, this deck hits a high numbers really easily, and it can make a board really easily. So technically speaking, yes, you don't need draws. I do want the draws, though, just to fill up the hand, because there are, in the late game, you are going to need something to, like, be able to call plant tokens with, or like whether it's just sack for Arboros or a copy of Wisteria or someone else in the deck that can call plant tokens. You're definitely going to need the draws to help fish it out, and the draw PG I feel like just helps more, especially while this deck, like, it's easy to get high numbers. Just put the crits on the rear first off. Like, put the Force 2 on the rear unless you're riding Arboros first, because for love of God, the rear guards can get dangerously big on first grade 3 turn, so yeah, just go 8 crit, 4 draw PG. If you really want to go 12 crit, go 12 crit. Just make sure one of them's a crit sentinel. Grade 1 time. 4 copies of Maiden of Sweetberry. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base. Auto Vanguard rear. When placed, call to 1 plant token to rear guard circle. And your Vanguard's grade 3 to get a soul charge of 1. So you get a free plant token. You don't have to call a plant token, but you can if you want. And if your Vanguard's a grade 3 greater, regardless if you call it plant token or not, you must soul charge 1. So downside of that is it is a mandatory effect, so it could deck you out faster. But considering Wisteria costs a soul for his ability to go off, I love Sweetberry because the deck doesn't go through that much deck cards anyways. So really nice card for a free plant token get, and regardless if it's on Van or rear. And continues rear guard during your turn. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 greater, it gets plus 5k during your turn. Okay, so it has use outside of the turn it's placed. Definitely you run it for the plant token making skill, considering what Arboros can do to them and considering what Wisteria can do to them. But, you know, the 5k also helps in the early game rush if you just called it down to make some early plant tokens for a rush, like I said. So 4 copies of Sweetberry because she's a good grade 1 ride target, like everyone else in this deck, because all the grade 1s have Vanguard skills, and, you know, she can do something outside of Van. So 4 copies. 4 copies of what I guess would classify as your preferred grade 1 ride target in Maiden of Flower Carpet, 8k base, grade 1 boost, 10k shield, auto van or rear. When placed, you may call it plant token to rear. Plant tokens are grade 0, 5k powers, and 1 critical and have boost. Oh, not the way Arboros makes, I'm gonna tell you that much. But, yeah, you know, those are standard plant tokens, the weak ones, if you will. And auto drops on at the end of the turn, retire 2 plant tokens, and return this card to hand. It is aimed in once per turn. They're so close to being good, like, because the most this could get is a bounce of 2 copies of it from drop. But, you know, it's fine. You nuke 4, you can only nuke 2 plant tokens, but hey, at least you get a 10k shield back to hand. I really wish it was not an aim once per turn and you could bounce 2, because I don't think a loop of 20k shield going back to hand is that dangerous, but apparently it is. Either way, 4 copies of Maiden of Flower Carpet, because, you know, also a grade 1 ride target, like Sweet Berry over here, can also activate her ability on rear guard, and can bounce herself back to hand by killing 2 plant tokens, opening up the field for next turn shenanigans. So 4 of. And then 4 copies of our last grade 1, the one where you want to ride the least. Arboros Dragon Branch, grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base. Auto Vanaria, when the attack or the attack it boosted hits anything, you may look at the top 4 cards of your deck. If you do, reveal it to 1 card with Arboros and its card name from among them, put it to your hand and put the rest on bottom deck in any order. So you can add himself, you can add the grade 2, you can add the grade 3, you can add the starter if you ran it in the main deck. You can pretty much get anything, regardless if it's on van or rear. It is really good, allows you for search for later purposes, like maybe it fixes your grade 2 ride because you want the Arboros ride line to go off, or maybe you actually need a grade 2, so this could help you. Maybe you need a grade 3, or maybe you just want to go Sephirot first, which is always a good option. You get Sephirot from this. All-around Branch is an amazing card, and you definitely want to keep them on the board at all times, at least at 1. So your opponent, 1, has kill fodder minus your big beefy plant tokens, but 2, also on hit pressure on anything that isn't the Vanguard. So, and he can boost and or swing into anything, so really nice. So 4 copies of Branch. But even though he's the least useful grade 1 ride target. On to grade 2s. 2 copies of Maiden of Nepenthes. I know how to say that. I know how to say that. Nepenthes. I know how to say it. I know how to fucking say it because I've said it so many times off camera before this. And I cannot remember how... You know, we all know I know how to say it because I've said it before, but for now, let's just pretend I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm doing. Grade 2, Intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Maiden of Nepenthes, that's what we're going with because I know it's close, but I can't say it right. Active Vanguard or Rear Guard once per turn, retire a plant token to draw a card until end of turn this unit gets boosted and plus 5k power. Okay... Kill a rear guard, draw, boost, 5k, so 15k swing, or boost. Okay, that's nice. And auto rear when the boost to grade 3 rear guard. Of course it has to be a rear guard. You have the boosted unit, get plus 1 critical until end of battle. If you do at the end of the battle, put this unit to soul. Okay, Wisteria semi has a soul problem. That fixes it. The grade 3 rear guard is now boosting for an extra crit. You shove a force 2 on it. Z grade 3 rear guard is swinging for triple crit. I really wish plant tokens would count as grade 3 rear guards. Because if so, this would be slightly a bit more broken in this deck. But 2 copies, because, you know, it's not that useful on rear, considering 95% of the time you're just never... Most of your field is going to be just plant tokens, and it's going to be everything except for maybe 1 unit. So you don't want to rely on 2 of your board units being that way. Like, while you're on Arboros, okay, yeah, this was fine, but otherwise, when you're on Wisteria, no to this. So you don't want to see it too often, but it can definitely be helpful as it gets you a draw to replace the plant token, gets a 5k, and it makes it a booster for the turn, and can possibly get extra crit and soul, so 2 copies. 3 copies of the thing that, if was the way I thought it was, would make this deck very broken. Moral Enlightenment Maiden, Melya. Grade 2, Intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, act rear guard once per turn. Soulbots want to retire any number of plant tokens, and until end of turn increase this card's power by the sum of the original power of the units retired for this cost. Now, I know what you're thinking. 4 normal plant tokens, those are all 5k power, so nuke them, get plus 20, and a Soul Blast for 1, so this becomes a 30 with a possible double crit on if you use Force 2. Okay, yeah, that's a bit deadly. Yeah, it's a bit, but if you remember, there are things called 10k plant tokens that Sephirot can make, and you nuke 4 of them. This becomes a 50k swing with possibly double crit. And if this worked the way I thought it, or if the next card worked the way I thought it did, this would be a broken combo. 3 copies. It deserves to be a once per turn because this deck could abuse the shit out of it if it wasn't. This right here is PG fodder, and this is why you run that. 3 copies. 4 copies of the thing that I really wish worked a different way than it actually does. Sunlight Garden's Guide. Just Sunlight Garden's Guide, not even a fucking name. Just, I hate cards that do that, where they have a title, but they don't have a name. Grade 2, Intercept 5k shield, 10k base, auto van or rear. When plays, call up to the same number of plant tokens as the number of plant tokens on your rear guard to open rear guard circles, and they are the standard plant tokens of everyone else. So, let's unpack this real quickly. How I thought this worked is that you call the same number of plant tokens as the number of open rearguard circles you have. So what I did before, what I thought you could do is you could just call full board of plant tokens but one, use Melya, nuke the plant token board, and this thing gets their power, call this thing, and then call 3 more plant tokens out of it. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but you can still do it. You could definitely still do that play. It's just gonna take a little bit more effort, I guess, to pull it off, and like one extra card, but still, big number, get your field back, and then you swing for even bigger numbers. Yeah, these two are combos. If you want to put this down to 3 and put this at 4 because this is objectively better, go ahead. I want to let it be clear, if your opponent sees this on the board, they're going to target it because this thing is actually going to be your game finisher, considering it's not an on-place. So, yeah, these two work in tandem together really well if you know what you're doing. I didn't, but now I do. So, 4 of them. And then 4 copies of last grade 2, which is objectively the worst grade 2 out of them all, but is the only one with an actual decent Vanguard skill. No offense, Nepenthes, but wait, is that right, Nepenthes? I don't know, but it's the better version of this, to be fair. But so skill, auto van, when placed, the next plant token you call this turn is a grade 0, 10k power, 10k shield, critical, has boosted intercept. Now, those are Arboros plant tokens, where basically they have the stats of grade 2s, except with grade 1 shields. And also grade 1 boosting abilities. So yeah, they're pretty good. And auto rear, when placed, you may call a plant token a rearguard circle, but it's a standard plant token. So the Vanguard ability is really good when you go for the early game rush, because, you know, you just want to get multiple, even if it's only going to make the next one you call a 10k pace, a 10k base, you still want to get that 10k base, so might as well ride and then just call someone like Flower or Sweet Berry and get a token out of it just to make it numbers, but or just call itself from hand if you have 2 of them, and then just make another token. But Timber all around a nice grade 2, and I like it. It's a decent grade 2 for riding. Afterwards, kind of useless on rear unless you're really trying to make a plant token, but 4 of. 4 copies of the thing that you will most likely sit on for 95% of the game, or actually, I sit on it 50-50 with Wisteria, but 4 copies of Arboros Dragon, Sephirot, grade 3, twin drive, force gift, 13k base, continuous Vanguard. The plant tokens you call are called as grade 0, 10k power, 10k shields, critical of 1, and have boost intercept. Basically, this thing, except permanent, which means as long as this thing sits on the Vanguard, regardless of when you call Z plant tokens, regardless of what ability it's by, they will always be called as that one. So your field just got a lot stronger. So these 5k motherfuckers just turned into 10k beat sticks. Flower power. Just imagine, I can imagine someone walking in a beautiful field of daisies thinking that, oh, it's going to be so easy beating Nectar to death. Suddenly, 5 seconds later, the plants have turned on you, grabbed you by the shins, thrown you on the floor, and then started beating you in the face with their jacked up muscles. Oh, I can see it now. I really wish I could make clip art of that. Oh, I really wish I knew how to edit, because I would so make a small little animation of that. But, anyways, and then his other skill, active Vanguard or rear guard, which I was not aware of. I didn't know it was a rear guard based skill. Once per turn, retire a rear guard and call to 2 plant tokens to rear guard circle. And if you have 5 or more rear guards, this unit gets plus 10 for the turn. So you can use it while it's on rear, and it will still get the plus 10, and you can use it on van, and it will still get the plus 10. Either way, kill rear guard, call 2 tokens, and if it's on rear, and kill itself, and it could possibly get plus 10. The more important thing out of this is this thing could also just make you 2 more plant tokens. So this is a way to get a full board out of it. For free, by the way. Yeah, if you can't tell, this deck doesn't really use up that much counterblast. Like, how many counter and soul blast? How many? I know Wisteria has 1 of each. You have 1 of soul blast, so 2. And neither of you 2 have it. We have literally 2 cards in the entirety of the deck that cost Counterblast and Soul Blast. Everything else in here does not. That tells you how easy it is to pay cost in this deck. Never worry about your Counterblast and Soul Blast in this deck. You are fine. In fact, never worry about your Counterblast, because Wisteria is the only one that uses them in this deck. Unless you're playing against something that forces you to Counterblast like Celestials, do whatever the fuck you want with your Counterblast. Soul Blast may be a bit sparing with, but Counterblast, do whatever the hell you want. 4 of Sephirot, though, because numbers are a thing, and this thing is scary to stare down on its own. However, Deep Green Lord Master Wisteria, our main grade 3 at 4 copies, grade 3 200 at 4 skip 13k base, is also a deadly thing to stare down. I say the time I use both of them, I use it evenly. I think I've been on 1 turn longer than Sephirot than I have on Wisteria, but even then, they're still pretty evenly matched in their capabilities. So, Wisteria, all you want is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, counterblast 1 and discard 1, call up to 2 plant tokens to Rearguard Circle. Okay, you combine it with this thing, and that's an immediate 2 10k swingers. And then choose one of your other units. It could be the Vanguard. It can literally just be the Vanguard, as long as it's not itself. But even if it's just another copy of it on another Rearguard Circle or Vanguard Circle, you could just search for the other one. But it cannot be itself on the board, the one that you're activating the ability of. Anyways, search after 1 card with the same card name as that unit, reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Get Force Gifts for next turn. Get more Force Gifts for next turn if you just pick itself from either Rear or Van. Plant Token Spammer. Bigger Beat Stick on both columns now. Plant Token Spammer. Searcher, which I greatly question. I mean, I did search it the one time, but that's because I had nothing else on my board but plant tokens. You can't really search plant token. Extra critical buffer if you called it to rear. More plant tokens. More plant tokens and a soul charge and power. Or just triggers if you kind of have to rely on it. But yeah, you get the point. And add it to hand. And then auto van to rear. Once more, an auto van or rear skill. When it swings into anything, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units. It can be itself, but you will most likely pick a plant token. And all of your units with the same card name as that unit get +5 until end of turn. And if this unit was on van, it gets +10 instead of +5. So, here's what I like to do. I like to ride Sephirot first, right? Okay. Spam out a field of plant tokens. Cool. Ride. Try to keep all the 10k plant tokens alive. Swing with van. Skill. Soul Blast 1. +10 to all those plant tokens. So all those things were already 10k bases. Now they're 20k bases, which means my columns are swinging for 40 each with probably double crits on them. Yeah, we can understand why this deck is terrifying, right? Like, I don't need to explain it. We all understand that 40 double crit on second grade 3 turn is a deadly enough factor, right? And then the Vanguard swings for even a bigger, or the Vanguard swings for a big number during the previous turn, and this could possibly swing for even a bigger number if you had another 10k plant token behind Vanguard Circle. Yeah, so we all understand the danger of this deck. And if you play it the way I did, I don't remember the combo because it was kind of a week ago that I did it, but I think it was like ride Wisteria, call Melya, kill 3 of the tokens, and then get the 30k power, and then call Guide to get another token. Actually, no, not call Guide. Call Branch first, Timber, get a token. Call Guide, skill, I get 2 more tokens, or technically I only get 1 token. Actually, no, I called it over Branch, so yeah, I just did get 1 more token. And yeah, just, you know, do loot plays, get power out of it, and then just called this thing to get more tokens on top of that, so then I could just get more power out of everyone. Yeah, point is, Wisteria makes everyone hit numbers really well, and this one makes itself hit numbers really well, and can get you a board really quickly. Point is, both of them work really good in tandem together, and I'm kind of scared of them. 4 of each. Okay, first up we have our plant tokens. 5 of the shitty plant token, or, sorry, let me rephrase that. 5 of the worst plant token, because it's a grade 0 with boost and 5k power. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Easy way to rush in the early game. But then when you have this, which is a 10k base power plant token with a grade of 0 and boost and intercept and a 10k shield, and it, granted, it's only available via 2 cards in this deck, but yeah, why do you want this again? Like, I mean, granted, when you call plant tokens, they will be mandatorily called this if this is on Vanguard Circle, but yeah, you get the point. This is dangerous, like big numbers, extra crits, all the dangerous things, and defenses as well. And then we have our gifts, 5 force 1s, 5 force 2s, because I kill everyone on second grade 3 turn with this deck. I don't imagine the game going farther than third grade 3 turn, honestly, but they can both go on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle when acquired. They can both be put on the same circle multiple times. Like, difference is Force 1 can be stacked and Force 2 doesn't. The other difference is Force 1, the unit on that circle gets +10 during your turn, and the power does stack. So, like, if you have 1 on the circle, +10, 3 on the same circle, +30, 5 on the circle, +50, etc. Force 2 does not stack, and the original critical of the unit there becomes 2. So if you put 2 on the same circle on the Vanguard's critical is going to remain 2. It does not become greater than 2. If it said the critical gets +1, unless it said the original critical get +1, it would stay at, it would increase at that point. But because it says the original critical becomes 2, it stays at 2. But you still pick Force 2, because this deck does not gift spam. It does not need to gift spam, because it already gets everything into the 40s on first grade 3 turn, and then it can do it again on second grade 3 turn. So, yeah. This deck is like a middle finger to your opponent. Like, not even fucking nuke decks can stop this, cause I'm telling you right now, I did a match with Kagero against this. I did a match with Blazing Flare. Yeah, Blazing Flare didn't do shit. I tried Dauntless. Yeah, Dauntless won, but that was more of Dauntless's impossible 2 to pass skill than it was actually of them being able to outpower them with the nuking of the board. Because the board would just come right back. So, yeah, Force 2 is the way to go. Just use the numbers properly and crit them to death with it. And then Quick Show, when one of you uses attack is plus 5k for battle. 5k shield they normally use for discard fodder of Wisteria, or discard fodder of the PG. You know, for once you can actually use this discard. Yeah, you know, for once you can use the 5k shield as a 5k shield, or you can just use a discard fodder for your main grade 3 and or the PG. So, yeah, Quick Shield. And that's it for the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, deck is fun. You get numbers, you get extra crit, and you're giving your opponent a big middle finger. They try nuking your board and expecting you're not going to be able to bring it back. Because, yeah, this deck literally costs no counterblast or soul blast for 95% of their skills. Which is dumb, but okay, sure, that's fine. I'm not complaining. I'm happy with it. It's bullshit is what it is. So, that's also the other reason why I picked this deck over Maidens, because Maiden of actually costs stuff. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.